In today's video, we'll configure our community plugins, create our daily habit tracker widget, and set up our cycle and reviews directories. Configuring community plugins. So now we have all our templates created and a few of our metabind buttons. We need to do a little bit of customization in our community plugins before we proceed on creating our directories dashboard and putting everything together. So to do that, jump into your settings, navigate to the calendar plugin, and just ensure that you've got show week number enabled. Now it's going to ask us for the week note format, template, and note folder. But because we're going to be using the periodic notes plugin, we don't need to enter this information. Change the start of the week to either Sunday or Monday. I'll keep it as Monday. Navigate to data view, turn on enable JavaScript queries as well as inline JavaScript queries. You can change your date format here if you would like. I usually just leave it default. Under folder notes, it should store the folder notes inside the folder. There's also this option to automatically create folder notes when a folder is created. So when we were creating our folders down here previously, instead of right-clicking and creating the folder note, we could have just enabled that to automatically create those folder notes for each folder. So that's just a time-saving tip. We don't need to enable that, so we'll leave it off. In the metabind, I do usually change my date format to day, month, then year, but it's up to you what you would like to use here. If you need any help, there is frequently asked questions here, which is quite helpful, which I did show before earlier in the video. Next one, periodic notes. Now we want to migrate the daily notes plugin, which is this plugin here. So we want to migrate the details. If you don't have any details in here, it's just going to migrate these details into here. So I'm just going to say yes, and then I don't have to copy them again. Now you can see it hasn't found my daily note template because ours is called daily journal template. So I'll just update that. We're going to add our weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly templates in here because we've already created them over here. So I'll just tick the weekly one. It's going to ask me what format. I'm going to leave it as the default format, which is year, tac, week, and then the number. Then it's going to ask me for the template. So I'm just going to type in weekly and choose the weekly review template. And then the note folder, I want to place it in the weeks folder under journal reviews weeks. So we'll put in journal reviews /weeks. Next one's going to be monthly notes. So it's going to once again ask me for the format. I'm just going to leave it as default, which is year, tac, and then the number for the month. Choose the monthly template. It's going to ask me which folder, and I'm going to put it in journal reviews months. So we'll select journal reviews first, / and then months. Next one will be quarterly notes. Quarters will leave default. Select my quarter review template. We can see it there. And then I'm going to select the quarters folder under journal reviews quarters. And last one's going to be our yearly template. So just leave the yearly as the year. Just type in yearly, select my yearly review template. And this one's going to go into yearly. So journal reviews /y into yearly. So now we have all our periodic notes set. So quick add, we will set up these later. This is going to be an optional step. And this is just to get our templates in quicker. Last one is templater. So we need to tell templater what our template folder is. Put in your toolkit, then template. And I like to turn on automatically jump to cursor, as well as trigger templater on new file creation. We can also turn on enable folder template, and this is just going to use a template when you create a new review under this folder here. So it's totally optional, but you could set up your folder templates for each of these, and I'll show you how to do that. So you choose your folder first. So in this case, we would choose journal reviews achievements, and then it's going to ask us what template to use if a new note is created in this folder. So we're just going to use the achievements, and we hit the plus to add our next one, and then we just do the same for all the remaining, and then you can just copy here And then you could just select your next one, which is disappointments. Select your disappointments template. Then we've got months. So we could do one for our months. We'll just speed up this part of the video to enter the remaining folder templates. Also put our daily journals folder, which is this one here. So then we have our new folder template. So next we're going to reveal the right pane, and we're going to drag our calendar community plugin down to the bottom right-hand side. And you just click and drag, let go of the mouse, simply move to adjust. And if you want to put this over to the left or top right, you can do that as well. And we can see here, because we've turned on our week numbers, the week numbers are listed here, and we have our current day selected here. So we'll just go ahead now and test to see if our daily note works. So when we click on the 23rd, it's going to ask us if we'd like to create a new daily note. We'll say yes. We can see here it's pulled in the correct template. We can see that we haven't got our habit tracker created as yet. So we need to go create our habit tracker next. So we'll do that in the next section, but we've basically got the right template being pulled in. We'll test that our weekly review works, and that's pulling in the correct week, which is week 39. And we've got our templated code being pulled in. We switch over to reading view and see that we don't have any habit tracker results as yet because we haven't entered any, but it's pulling in the right template. And we also don't have any results here for the notes created this week. We'll test our quarterly note works. Hit Control P, type in quarter, open quarterly note, and it's loading in our quarterly note, and it's pulling in all the correct date properties here. And we've also got the correct date properties here as well. So we'll test our yearly. So Control P, periodic, open yearly note, and we can see that it's pulling in the correct template for our yearly note. Creating the daily habit tracker widget. So the next step is going to be to create our habit tracker. So if I bring up the existing habit tracker, and I'm just going to hide the left and right pane, and we can see that I've called this one MetaBind Habit Tracker Reference Copy. And if we jump into the source mode, we can see it's just a table with a whole bunch of MetaBind input toggles, and they're either true or false. And so what they're doing, so if we look at the yoga one here, is it's giving me a true or false for the property habit yoga. And if we open up my daily journal template, we can see that here I have some properties set as checkbox, and these are either true or false. So we can see by default they are set to nothing. And then what we're going to do is when we tick true or false on our habit tracker, it's going to set these for the daily journal template. So down here, if we have a look where it says MetaBind error, that is where our MetaBind habit tracker is going to go. So what we need to do is we need to create our MetaBind habit tracker, and we're going to use this as our reference here. So we'll go down to the snippets folder again in our toolkit. We're just going to copy this, and we'll just go new note. We'll call it MetaBind habit tracker. And then we need to create our habit tracker. So probably the easiest way to do it is find out how many habits you have on your daily template. In this case, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 columns with 3 rows. So I would recommend going and grabbing the community plugin called Advanced Tables. So right click and select Insert and then select Table. And then when we roll over, we've got an option to add a row or add a column. So in this case, I need 7. So just click until I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I just need an extra row. So now I have enough room for my habits. And then just enter your habits in. So I've got all my habit titles entered. Now I need to add my true or false with the targeted property. So remember, we set these up in our daily journal template. And if you don't remember what they are, just bring up your daily template, give yourself a little bit more space, hide away this one, and then you can see them here. So we've got habit yoga, which matches here, your habit yoga, and we need to convert that one into a checkbox. Same with habit read, needs to be a checkbox. So we have all our checkboxes. So let's copy our first one. So that one is going to be gym. That one's going to be read. And I really don't like working with tables inside Obsidian just because you don't have much space to work with. That's going to be walking the dog. That one will be jogging or walking or running. And then the last one will be learning something. All right, so now I have all my toggle switches and I can preview that. So that's going to be my MetaBind habit tracker, and I can preview that on my daily journal template. And we can also test to see if it works. So you can either just scroll down until you can see them here, or you can reveal the side pane and bring up your properties by selecting your little information icon. And then that gives us a bit more space to work with. So let's test yoga works. So yoga works, gym works, reading works, Obsidian works, walking the dog works, walk run works, and learn works. And if we turn them off, they all deselect. So that's what we want. So now we have our habit tracker created in our MetaBind embeds called MetaBind habit tracker. So we can close this one. Creating your cycles and reviews directories. So the next step is going to be to create our directories for our reviews. So if we have a look at the achievements directory here, so if we have a look at the properties at the top, we have our CSS class. We have an icon, which is this icon here. We have our button to get to our achievements, which is just going to be our achievements button that we created earlier. Then we have an action, and this is going to be to add a new achievement, which is this one here. And I'll show you how to create that shortly. And then I have a search term, and this is going to be for our search term here, listing our results from our achievements. Let me show you how to construct this. So we'll go down to our achievements under reviews. Then I'll jump into source mode. We'll start with our metadata. So we'll select CSS classes. Then we're going to add a property with our icon. Then we'll put one for our button, action, and finally our variable search term. So I haven't created the icons yet. So this is optional, but I like to have these little icons on the dashboard. Just makes it look a little bit nicer in my opinion. Now, a few of these buttons haven't been created, so we'll need to go create those. Don't have weeks, months, quarters, years, or new achievement as yet. So let's highlight this, Control O, open up our MetaBind embed, and then we want to create our weeks. So the calendar, and then I'm just type in weeks. And this one is going to link to weeks, and the next one will be months. So copy, paste, months, and then link that to months. And this is just linking to our directory page here. So this one, weeks, is going to here, and this one, months, is going to here. Then we need our quarters to go to here. So let's do our quarters. Then the last one will be yearly. I've labeled it as years, so we'll go years, that one yearly, and that one is going to be yearly. Then we can test to see if that works. Now it's showing nicely. And then the last one is new achievement. So this is when we want to add a new achievement. So we haven't created this one yet. So we'll go down. We're just going to use the wizard for this one. So right click, MetaBind, button, just call this one new achievement. We'll hide by default. I'm going to select template create note we want to choose our achievement template, then we need to choose the folder. So we're going to go to our journal achievements, and then we want to open the note. So we'll hit insert on that one. And now we have our new achievement, and we can test that. And that looks like it's working. And we've got our cycles and reviews and button back to our achievements and go back to our cycles and reviews. All right, so that is our first directory created. Now we go back to our achievement and we still have to enter in a bit more information here. So we need to put our search field in there. So we'll do our search and results under our embed. So what this is going to do is it's going to set any search term that we put in here and set the property up here. And then that's going to look for the file name, content, or tags from this position here, which is reviews achievements, which is that one there. Because we only have the one at the moment, then we need to pull in this one here. So let's just put that one down there. So this one's going to show us all our achievements. So there's the achievement we just added. And then if I do a search created, and you can see it's set it up here, then it's going to show me that one there. So that's all working fine. All right, so that is our achievements directory created. So the next directory is going to be disappointments. And this is going to be very similar to our achievements, but instead of having achievements, we're going to have disappointments. So we'll use exactly the same layout. We'll use a completed example up the top here. So this is what we're going to be creating. So we can see that we've got a different icon here. We have a achievements instead of disappointments. We have an add new disappointment instead of a new achievement. We still have our search field. However, we're pulling results from our disappointments directory. I'll jump into the source mode. Just going to grab everything here and Control C. I'm going to go down to our disappointments under journal reviews disappointments. And I'm going to paste that inside. I'm going to change my data view query here, point to the correct directory. So it's going to be 5 journal reviews disappointments. We'll do the same for this one. I've already got my add new disappointment button embedded in this directory. So we just need to change this here. So let's preview what that looks like. You can either hit Control E or hit the preview up the top. So that's looking quite good. So now we'll move on to goal systems. Hide our properties and we can see we have our goal systems icon. Then we have our link to back to cycles and reviews and a link to value goals and goal outcomes. Then we have a little call out that tells us to fall in love with systems, not goals. Then we have a definition for value goals and also goal outcomes. So we'll go into source mode. We'll copy that across. And the only thing I need to change is the MetaBind cycles and reviews menu to link to this snippet in my MetaBind embed. And when I preview that, I can see what it looks like. So we'll close this one, close this one, and we'll go down, select goal systems. Now see how the buttons are not showing. And if we just open up goal systems again, it's because we haven't created value goals or goal outcomes. So we need to go create those. So we'll just copy, we're going to go Control O. We're going to open up our MetaBind cycle and review menu. We'll just scroll down to the bottom. So the first one is going to be our value goals, which is going to link to our value goals here. So we need to create that. So right click, create markdown folder note. Just hit the back button to go back to here and do the same for goal outcomes and then hit the back button. And now we're going to create our 2 buttons to link to these 2 directories. So the first one's going to be called value goals and the second one is going to be goal outcomes. So we will just need to open. So we'll just use this one here to save some time. So this one will be need a star. So Windows key full stop, use a star, and it's going to be called value goals. Let's copy our ID, paste. Then we'll select the value goals which we just created. We'll do the next one, which is our goal outcomes. Windows key full stop, goal outcomes. This one will be goal outcomes is our ID, and we'll select our journal review goal systems goal outcomes. So now when we go back to our goal systems, we'll close our copy, we'll preview our goal systems, and now we have our two buttons. So we'll click on value goals, that will take us to value goals. If we go back and go to goal outcomes, that will take us to goal outcomes. So we'll scroll up here and we will open up our goal outcomes, and then we can see what we have inside there. So this could be a database that you have listed here. It could be another directory where you list your goal outcomes, or it could just be some snippets of reminders. So we will leave this one blank for now. We'll have a look at the value goals, and this one is much the same. So this one could be a database with your value goals, or you could list them as dot points, or they could just be reminders of text. So we'll also leave that one as well. You can see I'm just using a little icon with a couple of buttons. I think we'll just leave these blank, and I'll let you get creative with those two directories. So the next one will be daily journals. Now this one is outside of our reviews folder, and we don't have a folder note created for it yet. So we'll right click, create a folder note. Now it's gone ahead and created a daily journal note in there because we have a template set. So we'll just go delete that. Then if we scroll up the page and open up our daily journal directory, we can see inside there we have our little daily icon with links to cycles and reviews, daily habits, months, quarters, years, add new daily journal. Then we have a little filter here to filter the month with our daily journal results. So we'll jump into the source mode. We can have a look at what that looks like. So I'm just going to copy and paste over to the left-hand side here. And the only thing I need to change is get rid of this copy, because we want to link to our metal bind cycles and reviews menu. Then I need to change this to journal, daily journals, which is pointing to 5 journal daily journals. It's going to list only one note inside there. So I can preview to see if that's working, and it is. There it is there. And preview, we can see we have my one daily note inside there. There's a couple of buttons missing here. So let's see which ones they are. We're missing our daily habits, and we're missing our add new daily journal button. So let's go create those. So remember, if we jump in, grab our embed, open it up, we'll just add it down the bottom here. So we want habits first. So habits is just going to link us to our daily habits directory. So that could just be a copy and paste. Then Windows key full stop, we'll use a target. We'll call this one daily habits. We'll grab habits, put that as our ID. Then we need to link to daily habits. There it is there. And now we have our daily habits button, which is this one here. The other one we were missing was add new daily journal. So this is just going to be our periodic notes plugin daily journal. We'll use the wizard to create this one. So right click, meta bind, button, add new daily journal. This one is going to be new daily as our ID. We're going to hide it. This one will be a command. We're just going to open daily note, and we're missing our little emoji inbox. So come up, Windows key full stop, inbox looks pretty good. So we'll insert that one. Now if we preview and go back and forward, we have our to missing buttons. Our select month to filter is just a inline select, and we're targeting the links of the month. So that's why they're written twice here, and it's going to set the variable this month, which is up here. And then this month goes down here into our where statement to provide us with our results. So the next directory is going to be weeks. So we'll scroll up, we'll have a look at our weeks example here. So we have a little icon of our weeks. We have our standard menu. Then we have our week data view query here. So we'll jump into the source mode, have a look at what that looks like. It's pretty basic. The only thing we need to change is our from here. So we'll just copy, paste. And we also need to put our journal in the from statement. So we'll preview that, and we can see we're missing a button here, which is our new weekly review. So we need to create that. So we will come down, we'll use the wizard again. So let's have a look. We need week review. So let's go right click, meta bind button, add new weekly review. The ID is week review. This one's going to be hidden. It's going to be a command again, periodic, then open weekly note. We also want to add our inbox emoji at the front. Hit insert on that one. Now we have our add new weekly review. This one just says new weekly review, so we could even just either keep it the same as that one or take it out. We'll preview that. Remember, we have to go back, forward again, and now it shows our add new weekly review button. Next, we'll do our months directory. We'll scroll down, select our months. We'll open up our previous example, much the same as our weeks, just have new monthly review. So we will simply copy, paste. We need to take out the word copy here and also update down the bottom here. I also don't have a folder for 2024 in my months folder. I just have the months listed, so I'll just keep that one as months. Now if we preview that, we're missing our new monthly review, so we'll go create that. So right click, meta bind button, add new monthly review, the ID, month review, it's hidden. It's going to be a periodic monthly note. We want to add our inbox emoji, so we'll preview this one over here. We'll just make sure we've got it correct, and then we'll go preview, back, forward. Now we have our monthly review, and we can see our month is listed in our data view query. We don't want to show the directory in our query, so we can remove that by going where file name is not equal to months. That will stop the directory from showing. So next we have our quarters directory. So we'll bring up our quarters example here. Just have our quarters icon, our quarter reminder, then our data view query. So if we have a look at that, we will copy, paste, change our embed. Then we just need to update our from. We'll preview that. We can see it's pulled in quarters, which we don't want it to do. So much the same as the previous one. Name is not equal to quarters. Now it doesn't show quarters. So we need to create our new quarter review button, which is this one here. So that one is called quarter review. So we'll go down to our meta bind cycles and review menu, use the wizard again, right click meta bind button, paste our ID in, add new quarterly review, Windows key full stop, add our inbox emoji. Then we're going to add our command. This one will be periodic notes open monthly note. We'll insert that one. We want it to be hidden, so we'll just copy and paste true there. Now we'll preview that. Back, forward. There we have our new quarterly review button. So the last one will be our yearly directory. So we'll bring up the yearly. We'll go up to our example, open up our example. Much the same layout, just our yearly review button here. So we'll copy, paste, preview, because now we need to take out the copy and we also need to update our from. We'll preview. We're missing our button and we're bringing in the directory yearly. So we want to ensure that file name doesn't equal yearly. And we we also need to go create our new yearly review button here. And we'll grab the ID, which was year review, right click meta bind button, add new yearly review, paste in your ID, add command periodic yearly note. Then we'll add our emoji, Windows key full stop, inbox, hide, insert. Now, when we preview, go back and forward, we have our add new yearly review button. The last directory is going to be our daily habits directory. Navigate over to your daily habits. I'll bring up my completed example. So we can see we've got our properties up the top here. We have our CSS classes, our icon, our button, our action, this status, select month 1, select month 2, and also this habit. If we hide our properties, we can see we have our icon with our menu back to cycles and reviews. We have a link to weeks, quarters, and years, and we could put one for months in there as well. Then we have our compare habit options. So we have our compare months, and these are being pulled in dynamically. So we'll need to go create these as they haven't been created yet. We have our option 2, which is select month to filter. Then we have the last 2 month option, and we have another compare months option with 1 month here, 1 month here. And the last option is our contribution graph. So we'll jump into source mode. We'll add our missing months. So now we have our months button. So our compare months option 1 is pulling in our habit tracker results dynamic habit select month 1. So if we pull up the habit tracker results month 1 copy, we need to create a dynamic select button as well as a dynamic data view query to load into here. So to do that, go down to your snippets folder. So you can either put it in a folder called reviews, or you can drag it straight into the snippets folder. I'll create a folder called reviews. Then I'm going to create a new note, going to go back. Then I'm going to open up my new note. I'm going to call it habit tracker results month 1. Then I'm going to grab the source code from my example here, simply just going to control paste. So we can see that the inline select here is setting the habits month 1, which is up in our YAML property here. At the moment, it's just got August selected. We'll just take out that. We can also take out the date added. Then we have our data view query here, which is pulling in all our habits from our journal daily journals, where the result is not empty and it contains the month with the habits month 1, which is the variable set here by the inline select option. So we've got that one created. So now we'll go create the second one, which is these two here. So we'll simply just make a copy of this one, and we'll call this one 2. Just going to go back so I don't lose my daily habits copy. I'm just going to click inside this one, load up my new one there. And then I simply just need to change the habit month to the number 2, the habit select month to number 2, and the habits month to number 2, and also the variable here and also the variable there. I can take the date out there. If we preview to see what that looks like, we have our select. Then when we select our month, it loads the month up here and it loads the habits for the month. Now we'll close this one, we'll close this one. We'll open up our daily habits again. We're just going to do a select from option 1. We'll open up our YAML. We'll do all of these here. Copy, paste. We'll close this one, and now we can see we have our 2 options here. Now, because we haven't applied the minimal theme yet, it's not going to show it like it does in part 1 of the series. So we'll tidy that up a bit later, but for now we just want to check to see if it is working. So go into reading mode, change to September. September should load here. So that's working, and it's also working here as well. And we can see that it's setting the variables up the top here. So that's what we want. So let's bring up our example again. We'll jump back into our source mode. So now we have our option 1. So the next one is option 2. Now option 2 variable is this status, and we've got we've got this status here for the inline select, which lives up here under this status. So we'll select option 2, paste option 2. Now we have our option 2. So we do need to change our reference here. So at the moment, it's selecting from the example vault here. So I need to change this to 5 journal daily journals. And then we should just see our 1 result here for September. So that's our option 2. The next one is our option 3. And this is just the last 2 months. So we can see that we can just copy, paste, then add our from statement to replace this from statement here. So this is going to get the last 2 months. As we only have habits to September, it's not going to show August or July. So that's actually the last 3 months. So we can put last 3 months. We don't have any habits in this sandbox for those months. So it's just going to show us September. Then we have our compare months option. So we can see we've got our variable select month 1, select month 2, and then we've got the set variable here, select month 1, select month 2. Those are up here. So let's go add those ones. Once again, we'll change the from to our journal daily journals. Then we'll add our compare months above that, preview. Then we have our September. And because we only got September in number 2, then that'll load those 2 down there as well. The last one is contribution graph. So if we have a look at this one, this is a community plugin. Then I've just got some buttons set up, and the buttons are actually loaded down here. So if we have a look, I'm just doing a replace in note for these ones. When I click a habit, so in this case, when I click yoga, it's going to replace lines 142 to 143 with the value habit yoga. And 142 to 143 is these 2 lines here. And I can turn this on in the settings under editor, show line numbers. We can see the line numbers are 41, 42. So I need that to be 42, 43. So we need to make sure that that is 142, 143. What that's going to do is it's just going to swap out the variable here to display the correct details on the graph. And if we preview that, when we hit yoga, we see yoga loads. So if we click learn, we can jump back into the source code. We can see that that's updated to habit learn. So that's just going to cycle through and give us our different values on the graph here. So next we're going to change themes and start making everything look a little bit more usable. Navigate to your settings, come up to appearance, go across to manage, select minimal, install and use. This completes part 3. Coming up in the next video, we'll create our directory icons, build our cycles and reviews dashboard. Then we'll move on to doing some testing and adding some custom CSS snippets.